I want to get back to your day off yesterday, though.
Sure.
Because Sedona is a place I'd never been to. I traveled through, as you said, several times. You know, it's on a route. I just was there 2 weeks ago for the very first time, and I spent 3 days there with my wife. I found it amazing. Some of the stuff you just described with like that peacefulness and
crazy.
Stuff. Like, man, like we did an ATV tour, did a hike and everything. Did you guys get to go to any of the energy vortexes that are out there?
We didn't, because we actually stayed in Flagstaff, and our tour manager Haley is from Arizona, and she was like, we got to do this today. So we ended up like getting into the hotel around 2, you know, like getting rooms or whatever. That's when we were able to check in, and we rented a Sprinter, and we left it around 3. So we kind of went late in the day, but these things were on, and I was getting recommendations from friends, like, you got to do these vortex things, you got to do this and that.
Oh, yeah.
And my whole goal was like, all right, I'm gonna go spend like $100 on rocks. You know what I mean? Like, I bought like crystals for my daughter, for my wife, and I was like, this is all I'm gonna get to, and I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna take mental pictures of the mountains and the sunset, and, you know, have a chill day off.
It's a great time of year too.
Yeah.
Like, not like I'm a fucking expert, but this is what people would tell me when I show up there. Because they just got rain a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's not pure desert.
Green.
There's greenery everywhere. I was like, how is there green? You know, they're like, oh, it fucking rained. I'm like, oh, no duh.
On the drive from fucking Flagstaff, I was like, whoa, you guys got fucking pine trees? I was like, I had no idea you had fucking pine trees.
I didn't know they existed in Arizona. And that's the craziest thing. We've been traveling in this country for 20 plus years and seen all the states. And there's still things that we're going like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like
it makes me feel better you didn't know.
I just assumed everything was just burnt. You know what I mean? Like wow, this is green, and you know,
I thought it was showing up to Mars.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, man, what fucking Pluto? What the fuck? You know what I mean? That's crazy.
It's so cool. Like all the green. Like it's just. I don't know about you, but me and the wife decided after this trip that we're gonna try and make an annual trip out of that, and like that's something that. If you get back to it and have more time, I do recommend going to those energy vortexes.
I would love
I'm sure
to.
all your friends have told you to.
I would love to.
Dude, I'll tell you, I'll show you a quick story on that real quick. We went up to one of the energy vortexes, met this very nice gentleman. I had no idea what his name was. I was looking at the map, me and the wife, and we're like, all right, where's the hike go? You know, they have those all the trails, right? And it goes, and we were like, okay, it looks like it goes up here. And he's like, whoa, what are you looking for? It's a nice gentleman, older gentleman. And I was like, oh, we're looking for the blah, blah, blah energy vortex. I don't remember which one it was. There's several. And he's like, well, you know, you got to go this way. He starts explaining it. And then he pulls out this heart-shaped rock. He had a couple of them. He had a couple of them. And I was like, oh, no, here comes the spiel.
Yeah.
And he hands us these rocks and says they're like a really nice seance or whatever about love and peace and stuff. And I was like, how much money are you going to ask me for?
Right.
He didn't ask for anything. Just went about his thing. And I was like, all right, rad. Fast forward about half an hour later, we're up at the energy vortex. Lo and behold, this guy comes up from behind us, goes to the very peak of the energy vortex, climbs up the top, sits down and like helps a couple other people up there, pulls out a fucking flute, I shit you not. And everyone goes dead silent, and the dude starts playing like this old tribal style flute stuff. And it was like this very peaceful. It wasn't what I was expecting at all, obviously.
Can't make this shit up.
No. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And me and the wife just stood there in silence for a minute. She got a little teared up, honestly.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, because you're just out on the top of this canyon, you know, and this dude is playing like this.
A fucking shaman flautist.
That's exactly what it was. This guy who and I still have I held on to that fucking heart-shaped rock.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't know if that guy owns a computer or has even seen or read a podcast or listened to a podcast, but if you are, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, you made a difference here. That's crazy.
It was
because
so wild.
You're right. Like when somebody whips out the rock, you know, you're like, all right, so
isn't that sad,
if I don't buy this, I'm gonna get bad energy. You know what I mean? But if he's just giving it out, like out of the goodness of his heart, and he's gonna go stand on top of a peak and play the flute, and make your wife cry, that's kind of amazing.
It's that's just a beautiful human being, right? And it's sad that was my first thought. I felt guilty immediately after that. You know, I was like, but like, it's sad that's. But I think that's most people's reaction, 100%, probably.
100%. Because when you said that, I was like, oh no, here it goes.
Yeah.
How much do you have to spend on that rock?
Exactly. But it was nothing. Like at that point, I almost wanted to give him something.
Totally.
I was like, what can I give you back? Like, clearly monetarily, you don't care. What can I give this guy back? You know? Like, this is, it was a really beautiful place. And that just kind of summed up the entire trip for us. That's why I bring it up, is like that Sedona thing. I couldn't imagine how that would be. Wish you had more time, to be honest.
Totally.
That's like, that recharge in the middle of a tour would be so fucking sick.
It was so cool, man, just walking around and you know, there's a lot of tourists there, but everybody's kind of going through the same thing because you're like literally looking at like the planet. You know what I mean? You're just like, these mountains came out of nowhere. They're insanely beautiful. You know, there's so many deadly things out in that, you know, land. So I'm glad to be here where I can see it from afar. And, you know, you're watching helicopters go by because people are going on tours, but it's still peaceful. It's still like, you don't feel like you're in Times Square.